In Module 4, Lesson 3, we're going to look at the relationship between multiplication and addition. So starting in the opening exercise, they ask us to write two different expressions that can be depicted by the tape diagrams that are shown. One expression should include addition, while the other should include multiplication. So starting with the first problem, I have 3. I'll do addition first. Plus 3 more, plus 3. And I know that 3 plus 3 plus 3 is 3 times 3. There are two different ways. In B, we'll do repeated addition first. There are 8 in each group, and 8 plus 8 would be my first expression. Remember, these are expressions, so no equal signs. And the second expression would be 8 times 2. And then in our third, we have 5 plus 5 plus 5. And our multiplication expression would be 5 times 3. So in the exercises, we'll practice. They ask us to write the addition sentence that describes the model, and then the multiplication sentence that describes the model. When we talk about a sentence, we actually are talking about an equation with an equal sign. So the addition sentence would be 5 plus 5 plus 5 equals 15. And our multiplication sentence would be 5 times 3 equals 15. In number 2, they're asking us to write an equivalent expression to demonstrate the relationship of multiplication and addition. So if they've given us addition, we should write the multiplication. If they've given us multiplication, we should write the addition. 6 plus 6 is 6 times 2. If we're repeat adding 3 6 times, then we would be writing 3 times 6 as our multiplication problem. And if we are adding 4 5 times, we would write 4 times 5 as our multiplication problem. Remember, addition and multiplication are commutative, which means that you can move the numbers around and still have the same answer. So if you had 6 times 3, it's still okay. And if you had 5 times 4, it's still okay. 6 times 2, we actually wrote up here as 6 plus 6, so we could actually write 2 plus 2 6 times, just to change it up and show you that it's the same. Then we have 4 times 6. And I will repeat add 4 6 times. And then 3 times 9. I'll write 9 plus 9 3 times. And then we'll repeat adding h. Now it doesn't really matter. The process is the same whether you have a variable or numbers. So if I am adding h to itself 5 times, this would be 5 times h. But when we write multiplication with a variable, we write the number of times that that variable is repeated in front of the variable with no symbol. That's the standard. Because if we were to put an x for multiplication in between, that would look like the letter x, not like the multiplication symbol x. And then finally we have 6 times y. Remember, there's no symbol in between, so that means multiplying. And 6 times y is adding y to itself 6 times. It is not adding 6 to itself y times. And the reason it isn't is we don't know what y is, so we can't add 6 to itself y times. We don't have that information. If Roberto is not familiar with tape diagrams and believes that he can show the relationship of multiplication and addition on a number line, they've asked us to help Roberto demonstrate that the expression 3 times 2 is equivalent to 2 plus 2 plus 2 on a number line. So I have a number line, and we're going to show 2 plus another 2 plus another 2. And there we are showing 3 times 2 is the same as adding 2, 2, and 2. Next, we're going to look at some equations and tell whether they are true or false. So in A, we started with x, we added 6g, and then subtracted 6g, and we're saying that it equals x. Now that is definitely true. Because when you add and then subtract the same number, you will end up with the number you started with. And in B, we start with 2f, we subtracted 4e and added 4e, and we ended with 2f. And again, it is true because when you add and then subtract the same number, or you subtract and then add the same number, you'll end up with the number you started with as well. So we'll rephrase that. It's true. In 5, they're asking us to write an equivalent expression to demonstrate the relationship between addition and multiplication. So in order to complete this, we have two different numbers working together, but we do have repeat addition of each number separately. So we have 4 6s, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we can write that as 4 times 6. But then we have to put an addition sign because we're not multiplying that times 4. We also have 3 4s, so 4 plus 4 plus 4 is actually 3 times 4. We have 4 times 6 plus 3 times 4. Please notice you have to have that plus sign in between because you're not multiplying all the numbers together. In B, we have 1, 2, 3 times d, 3d. And remember, we're adding it, and we have 5 w's, 5 times w. So 3d plus 5w. Next, we have 3 different variables in this. We have 2a's, 2a. Don't forget the plus sign. Then we have 1, 2, 3 b's. Don't forget the plus sign. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4 c's. So our expression is 2 times a plus 3 times b plus 4 times c.